It did. Okay. Welcome, everybody. We're launching registration for next year. I'm Ms. Abear, and this is Mr. Troche. And we're going to go over information about how to request your classes for next year. We're going to go through the form together. We're going to show you resources to help you learn about the classes and the opportunities you have at Claremont High School, because you have a lot of choices coming up, even more than this year. And we want to make sure you make good decisions. So you have your iPads. If you would please go to the CHS website, make sure it's CHS and not the CUSD website. The wolf should be in the top left corner of your page. And Mr. Troche is handing out a half sheet of paper, and we'll go over that in a second too. All right, everybody at the CHS website? Not yet.
While you're navigating there, I quickly want to go over what's on this little half sheet, okay? So the half sheet of paper that you see in front of you, this is kind of your quick reference guide, okay? So it has dates on here. This is stuff that's coming up. We're going to show you where that's on the website as well, so you don't have to worry about making sure you see the dates on here. It's on the website as well. And then you have QR codes along the bottom. These 4 QR codes are the key things you need to have access to complete this process. The first one is the actual link to the website. So we're going to show you how to get there from the Claremont High School website, but you can also access it via the QR code here. Okay. The second one is going to be the webinar tonight, 6 p.m. tonight. There's a webinar. You need to be there. Okay. You need to drag your parents there. This is a student and parent webinar. We're going to talk to you through the course request form today. Tonight, we're going to talk about a whole bunch of other stuff that we're not going to talk about today. And so we want to make sure that you guys come to the webinar tonight. That's the link for that. The third one is to the course request form. Do not open that yet. Please wait until we walk you through that. We want to make sure you do it correctly. So please wait on that one. And then the last one here is about the IB diploma. So if you're interested in doing full IB diploma, you want to make sure you go to the IB diploma website. Okay.
All right. So hopefully we're all at the CHS website. And we're going to go to where it says Counseling and Career Department. It shows 2 people talking at a desk aside each other. So go ahead and click that, please. Counseling and Career Department. And it will take you to the Counseling Department page. And this is a landing page that you've probably seen before. Your counselors' names are on the right-hand side. And we will have information about other things that happen later in the year. But right now, the first thing you're going to see, and it's taking a while to load, is the course selection for the 24-25 school year, where it says the little puzzle on the left side says click here to start. And that is your first overview. So step 1, we're in your classroom. Step 2 is a webinar tonight. And then you have over a week to complete your request for next year. And the form that we're showing you today is editable, so you can go through the form as many times as you want from now until the 21st of February to change your plans for your classes next year. In the meantime, we expect you to talk to your friends, talk to your teachers, talk to your parents, maybe talk to older siblings that maybe have been here before that you can say, hey, I'm thinking about taking this class. What do you think? Do you think I might enjoy this over that? We want you to make informed decisions. We don't expect you to be final with your decisions. We want you to submit your decisions today to show you how to do it so you can go back and change as much as you need to for the next 9 days. Here's a calendar about what's happening with the guidance department. After you submit your request by the 21st, the final requests, then we will meet with you individually through your social science classes starting on the 3rd, I think, of March.
Yep.
And we're going to have your requests on a sheet of paper, and we're going to go over your transcripts, your credit check, ask you what you want to do after graduation so that the courses you take in junior year and eventually senior year kind of align to what you want to do after high school is over. So that's the calendar. On the right-hand side of the page, course selection links. There are tools that will be helpful for you as we're doing the course selection. One is the course description booklet, and then the other is the CHS electives catalog. The course description booklet is kind of an older document. It will be updated shortly, but the course description book gives you an outline of what the courses are. So if you're thinking about AP composition, that's taking forever to load.
I didn't open it because of that. It takes forever to load.
It does take forever, but you can just see what AP composition is versus maybe IB English. You can see about the prerequisites, and this kind of gives you a handy tool. Here's kind of the example I was giving you to look at AP composition. What does it take to get in prereqs? How is it different from IB English? And then talk, of course, to Ms. Martinez about her ideas, what she thinks about your ideas. Just run it by your teachers. They know you very well, and they can be very helpful with their advice. So going back to the course selection form, what class are you guys? What year do you graduate? 27. So go click on class of 2027, please. And the course selection, this is just a little bit of a repeat of the half sheet you have in front of you, talking about the steps that we're taking to register you for next year. For those of you who are thinking IB diploma, there's going to be a webinar Thursday night, and in person for IB on Thursday night, and a webinar on the 18th, a week from tonight. And IB diploma is an option you have. You can also take IB classes, much like you can take AP classes next year if you don't want the full diploma option. And I think the next thing we want to show you next is the course selection form. All right, so hit the course selection form. You can also use the QR code if it's super slow for you.
Okay. I want everybody to follow along with us so that we're doing this all together. We're all going to submit together. Again, you can edit it as many times as you want, but I want you all to submit today. So everybody should be opening this document right now while we're waiting and waiting and waiting. The internet has been slow all morning. Holy cow. Do you have it open in another frame?
No.
Anybody else is coming up? Did you make it up there? You made it up there. Try closing and then redoing it. See if we can get that going. While you're doing that, we're going to go ahead and get started. Is everybody on the course selection form? Can I borrow yours for a second because I know you're there? You should see this, yes? Everybody here? Show me bobbleheads, yes? We're all here? Yeah? Beautiful. Okay. So let's go ahead and start on the course. We're going to start filling out. Perfect. The first thing we want on here is your email address. Now, this is your email address that you check. How many of you guys check your Claremont address? Put your personal one then. Okay, we want you to be able to get the information from us. I promise we're not going to add you to a spam list. This is literally just for us to be able to communicate with you if we need to about your schedule over the summer. So your personal email address. Scrolling down a little bit further here, these links will take you back to the original course selection website. That'll help you in case you somehow get lost and get here a different way. Pushing down a little bit further, information about summer school is not quite out yet. Keep an eye on the counseling page. We expect that information to be available in March. Probably by the time we meet with you one-on-one, we'll have more information about summer school. Okay. Let's scroll down a little bit more. Let's talk about your ID number. This, for me, is the most important question you answer here. Okay, and here is the reason why. You're going to put in your actual ID number. Don't do like Miss Aberry did in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That does not work. It needs to be your ID number. Here's what happens. Once this form closes, I take this data and I will mass merge it into Student Connect. That's what actually gives you your classes next year. If I have the wrong ID number, you will not match, which means you will not get requests for next year. If you don't have requests for next year, that means Miss Aberry gets to pick your classes for you. She's not a great guesser. You guys get that? It's absolutely critical your ID number matches. If you're like, I think it's my ID number, go on Minga and double check to make sure it's your ID number. That needs to be accurate. Scrolling down a little bit further here, we have our last name and our first name. I know this is going to be really complicated for you. Your last name, you ready for this? Is your last name. Your first name's your first name. And I make a joke, but the reality is somebody in your class will mix the two of them up. And what will happen is I will have William Adams put Adams as his first name and William as his last name, and all of a sudden he goes from my paperwork to Miss Abear's paperwork, and then I don't have a clue what he actually picked. So make sure the last name and first name are in the correct position. The next thing down here is your phone number. Why do we want your phone number? Not mom and dad's, your phone number. Because if I have a question over the summer, I'm going to do one of two things. I'm either going to email you or I'm going to call you. Okay? Give you an example of this. Let's just happen to say that AP French 4, that's maybe one of the things that you picked, and musical theater, one of the things you picked, are offered only in the same period. Guess what? I can make a phone call and say, hey, we got a problem. Because I want to know what you actually want. Does that make sense? Okay, I promise we're not going to crank call you all summer long. Well, Miss Aber, I won't.
I won't.
Okay, please make sure it's your phone number so that we can actually reach you. Okay. Next thing down here, if you have an IEP or a 504, just go ahead and select that. If you don't know what that is, you don't have one, click none. Go ahead and move down a little bit further here, and let's talk about this block here. So I wish to prepare for the following. Okay. What this does is before we meet with you, this gives me as your counselor an idea of what you're planning. Are you planning to go into the military? Are you planning to go to 2-year? Do you want to go to a 4-year? Do you want to be NCAA eligible? This just helps me as your counselor determine what it is I need to talk with you about. Because if you pick NCAA and you don't pick classes to get you NCAA eligible, we need to talk about that. Does that make sense, guys? This just helps me and Miss Aber know what kind of conversation we're going to have with you when we meet with you one-on-one. I promise you we're not taking out a stone tablet and etching it in stone, and this is what you have to do. That's not what this is for. This just helps us start a conversation. Next thing down is going to be the sports that you play. Okay, so if you play a fall sport, you're going to enter that here. If you don't, it's okay to have no fall sport. Same thing with winter sports, same thing with spring sports. The reason we want that up on here is because it helps us design your schedule a little bit better. I'll give you an example of this. Is anybody a baseball player or a softball player in here? Yes. How many days would you miss sixth period? Do you have a sixth period?
Just PE.
Just PE. Okay. If you didn't have PE sixth period, how many days would you miss sixth period? Every single day during season, right? I think it's 4 or 5 days a week for softball and baseball. In that situation, if possible, we want to try and not give you that sixth period class because we know you're going to miss. That's why we want this information on here, okay? This also helps people keep track of credits for playing sports as well, okay? Scrolling down a little bit further here, we want to know if you played these sports previously. It's okay if you haven't. We just want to know. And then, are you planning to be a full IB diploma candidate? How many of you guys want to do IB, full IB diploma in here? Oh, how many of you guys know what IB is? Okay, some of you do.
Different from the MYP. The DP program is very different than MYP.
Very different.
Okay.
Okay. If you're interested in doing full diploma, I would highly recommend going to one of the meetings, either the in-person evening meeting or the webinar, and then the lunchtime meetings. Get to meet Miss Evans, talk with her about what full diploma might look like for you. It is different for every student, and so it's an individualized plan to be a full diploma candidate. Okay, so if that's something you're interested in, I would highly recommend talking with Miss Evans and going to one of those meetings. Okay, if you're interested in taking an online course at CHS, you're going to select yes here. Okay, what does this mean? Claremont High School does offer a limited number of online courses. This year, if you're a junior, you have the opportunity to take U.S. history online. And if you're interested in doing that next year, either to add in another class, like another elective, or to have fewer periods, go ahead and select yes there, okay? If you struggle with working independently, don't do this. These are very independent classes, and if you're not self-motivated, this is actually a bad idea.
Yeah, these are online
Wouldn't do this.
asynchronous. So you log in and do your work faithfully daily, but you don't have like camera time or a 4 o'clock start time. You log in, do your work daily on your own initiative.
Okay. I will tell you, with these, very clear that not all students who select it will get it. We have a limited number of classes that are available every single year, and we just don't always have the space to offer you the online class. Go ahead and click next.
All right. So the beginning of this page gives you the course selection key. When you see the courses listed in a minute here, you're going to see some symbols by the course title. The capital P means it's college prep, that it meets the UC CSU A through G requirements. It's important to have that if you are planning to go to four-year colleges after graduation. The plus sign means that it's weighted. So grades of C or better get an extra GPA point in the GPA calculation. So a B is now worth 4 points, not 3 in a weighted class. The capital R means it's a Baldy View ROP class, and Baldy View ROP classes exist on our campus like Stage Tech, Mental and Behavioral Health, Engineering Drawing, and they also exist outside of our campus for other career pathways. And you'll see that in a few minutes. The capital D means it's dual enrollment. How many of you know what dual enrollment means here at CHS? Okay, good. That's great. You're going to know more about it today because dual enrollment really opens up for juniors next year. Dual enrollment classes are Citrus College classes offered at our campus, taught by our teachers doing our school day. And dual enrollment classes give you a college course experience. By definition, college classes are a semester long. They're not a year long. And we'll talk about what enrolling in dual enrollment means for your schedule in a few minutes as well. And then the I means that the course has an interview or audition, like for music, for band, theater. We want you to select a start time for next year. Indicate the start time that works best for you. Just know that we do our best for 0 period, but we can't always be 100% assured that you'll have it because it depends on how many teachers are willing to teach that early. Moving on to social science, you need US history next year to graduate, and you need it also for four-year college admission. Your choices for US history are US history or AP US history or IB History HL. IB History HL is a 2-year course sequence. Just know that if you do IB History junior year, you'll pick up the second year, senior year, which will fulfill the government diploma requirement. Questions? No? Okay. Moving on to English. You need 4 years of English to graduate, 4 years of college prep English for four-year admission. Your 3 choices for for English are junior English or AP language and composition, and the emphasis is on writing, or IB English HL. IB English is also a 2-year course sequence, meaning that if you start IB English junior year, the expectation is you finish the second year of IB English in your senior year. Questions? IB and AP are weighted. It has the T legend by it.
You guys know the difference between AP and IB? Some of you do. Let me quickly explain. So your AP classes and your IB classes, both of them prepare you for a final test. Obviously AP for the AP exam, IB for the IB exams in your, well, in this case, your senior year for both of these. The differences between the two. One of the main differences is the actual test itself. For example, your AP US History test, it's about half multiple choice and half written. And so there's more of a focus on memorization of topics, while your IB History exam is going to be entirely written without any at all multiple choice. And so the differences between the two classes are based upon the differences between the tests. You're going to do a lot more writing in your IB classes because the final test requires that. Okay. In addition to that difference, there's also difference in the actual content. So you have IB History of the Americas, which is history of the Americas, which includes Canada, United States, South America. It includes all of the Americas. Okay, so you're covering a broader perspective in comparison to AP US History, which is just about United States history. Okay, so there's a difference in the content, but also a difference in the way the classes are approached. Okay, same thing is going to be true about English. You're going to cover different subject areas in IB English HL than you would, specifically in the novels, than you would in AP Language and Composition. that make sense? Okay. It's really more about how your learning style is and what picking between the two of those. If you're really good at writing, I would actually suggest looking into that IB curriculum, and it actually might suit you better than if you are just really great at memorizing things. That's better for the AP curriculum.
Questions? All right, we'll move on to math. So you have a lot of math choices. Your math choices will depend on your current class, how you're doing in your current class, and then moving on. So if you're currently in Math 2-3 and doing well, suggest AP Pre-Calculus for you. If you're currently in Integrated Math 2 and doing really well, you enjoy math, think about Enhanced 3 AP Pre-Calc, which is 2 years of math in one school year. That Enhanced 3 course is really fast paced, but many kids really enjoy it, and allows you to be ready for calculus, AB in your senior year. If you're currently in Integrated Math 1, then moving on to Math 2. If you are in Math 2 and don't love math, then move on to Math 3. That's a perfectly appropriate spot to be. There is also, if you're in Math 3 right now, AP Pre-Calc or IB Math AISL. And if you're in higher math, like you're currently in AP Pre-Calculus, you might most likely want to choose AP Calculus AB, or you could choose AP Stats. There are other choices as well.
Scroll down just a little bit. I want to highlight two new things. These are our dual enrollment classes, and you have not been offered them as sophomores. You'll be offered them as juniors. And so if you've completed Integrated Math 3, these are two additional options you could look at. Okay. You'll see this again when we get down to science, but if you pick one of the dual enrollment classes, because these are a semester long, we're going to ask you to select an opposite semester course. So if you selected, for example, Math 160, we're going to have you pick another course to be in second semester.
And these two courses have a prerequisite of completion of Integrated Math 3.
Okay, let's jump down to science.
Okay, so because I didn't choose a dual enrollment, I don't have to answer this question, and we're moving on to science.
Quick question about math. Go ahead.
So if I'm currently in math class and I want to get into a higher math class, do I need to take a test?
Talk to your counselor about that, and talk to your current math teacher, because I'm not sure if you're talking about taking a whole year extra to move forward. So a lot depends on.
So should I mark down the one I hope to get in, or the one I would currently have?
I think you should mark the pathway course and then talk to your counselor.
So I'll give you an example. Traditionally, Claremont High School has offered pre-calculus over the summer. So if you're in Integrated Math 3 this year and you think you want to take pre-calc over the summer to go to Calc AB, I want pre-calculus marked on the form. Okay, there's a place for you to indicate it at the end what you're hoping for. We'll show you that at the end. Okay.
Yes, question?
Can you move? So you said it's recommended to move from Integrated 3 to pre-calculus. Can you move from Integrated 3 to AP Statistics, or would you be like blocked from doing that?
You won't be as well prepared for AP Stats from Integrated Math 3. We would want to talk about another option if you wanted to do stats. Just something to keep in mind, though, for statistics, Math 165 is introductory statistics, so that could be an option.
And that one only requires the IM3. So that would be another option for you. Okay. Let's jump into science.
All right, so to graduate from high school, you need a year of life science like biology, and you need a physical science such as physical science or chemistry or physics or any type of physics that we offer here for the diploma. And that is the same requirement, minimum requirement for four-year colleges. But again, if you're planning to go to college and you have a potential major or career that involves science, like you're thinking healthcare, nursing, engineering, marine biology, you really should have more than the 2 years minimum. We offer a lot of science, and next year, IB Science opens up, like IB Sports Exercise, IB Bio, IB Environmental Systems, and then we have a lot of AP classes as well. And there's more. There's anatomy and physiology, really practical for healthcare related fields. And physics, we offer AP Physics 1, AP Physics C. These are math-based physics, so you do have to check the prerequisites in math for AP Physics 1 and C. And we also offer IB Physics SL, which is also less math demand, but still a little bit of math demand needed for that as well. So if you're currently in chemistry, you have a whole boatload of choices. If you're not in chemistry yet, sorry.
I want to take a look. There we go.
Yeah. Here, do
Go
you
ahead.
want to take it?
No, you're good. You're
Okay. If you're not in chemistry this year, so you're finishing up bio, chemistry next year would be a great choice. Yeah.
For AP Physics 1, I noticed that like a lot of the prerequisites say like you have to like have done this. This is concurrent enrollment in
Yes.
that degree. Does that mean like now or when I'm taking it?
Concurrent to the time you're taking the AP Physics.
Okay.
Yeah. Great
Some-
question.
Some other courses down here at the bottom that are new this coming year: Biology 108, which is the biology of cancer, and Biology 117, which is the biology of infectious diseases. These are our dual enrollment classes. These are new next year. And so these are options open to you for science as juniors if you want to take them. Okay. Again, these are those weighted classes, one semester, get a full year of credits, plus the community college credits. Okay. No matter which science you pick, we want to see an alternate science. Okay. What we have found is with so many science offerings, we often find these conflict. Example, this class will only be offered in one period. And if that happens to be offered in the same period as, let's say for you, musical theater, well, then we want to back up just in case we can't give that to you. Does that make sense? Okay. If you pick one of these last two, we also want you to pick a class opposite of that. Same thing with math. This just makes sure that you have one semester of this class and one semester of another class. Okay. If you pick one of these, you're going to pick the other one, typically speaking. Okay.
All right. Questions. All right. World language. So to graduate from high school, the requirement is either 1 year of world language or 1 year of visual performing or music art, or 1 year of a career technical class like Baldy View ROP classes that we offer here. The requirement is just that. If you're interested in being ready for four-year colleges, you need a minimum of 2 years of the same world language, 2 years of French, Spanish, or German. If you have not started a world language, you can next year. If you're currently in a world language and enjoying it, please continue. That is awesome. Some of you might be eligible for biliteracy by your senior year, which means you've done 4 years of a world language here and you're recognized with that achievement with a stole at graduation, and it's on the grad program. It's a really cool thing. We offer the third year honors if you're interested in that, as well as regular third year world language. And for some of you, we've encountered some sophomores already in AP Spanish this year. So next year, we're hoping to offer AP Spanish Literature and Culture, which is the 5th year of Spanish right there. Okay. If you're in third year Spanish and you want AP, that is available.
If you're not taking a world language, you don't plan to take one next year, you would select this bottom link. And then when you hit next, it's going to take you to a separate page that if you are taking a world language, you won't see. But if you click that bottom one and hit next, you're going to be picking 2 additional electives. We don't need to do that right now. Okay. Any questions about world language? Yes.
I was told that for Green University you need 3 years of language.
So it's recommended. 2 is the very minimum, 3 is better. And then depending if you're looking at very competitive schools, then 3 or 4 is really ideal. If you wanted to take language over the summer, talk to your counselor about that, but it's not, the summer language is not good preparation for the year-long school year. So if you wanted to cap out at year 3 over the summer, that's a discussion with your counselor. We would not recommend you come back for the AP year. Yeah. Yeah, talk to your counselor about that.
Yeah.
You could do that and then have that conversation with your counselor.
That's what I would recommend doing, yeah. Take Spanish 3 for that. Okay. Jumping into our electives. So if you didn't If you actually took a world language, you would go straight to the screen like we have. If you did not take a world language, you're going to be asked to pick 2 more electives. In this situation, we're now picking our electives because we had a world language. Okay, your primary choice elective, this is the one you really want. So in this situation, Ms. Aber has picked Theory of Knowledge 1. Okay, if you're in full IB, Theory of Knowledge is absolutely a must. You must take that course. Okay, your alternate electives and your 2 alternate electives, these 2 are what you want if you can't get this. So Ms. Aber has picked IB Theory of Knowledge 1, IB Theory of Knowledge 1, and IB Theory of Knowledge 1, which for IB, if you're a full diploma, is okay to do. However, if you're not full diploma, I need 3 unique elective choices here. Okay, so let's say we're not full diploma and we want yearbook. That means my second one needs to be a different elective. And my third one needs to be a different elective. If you pick the same elective 3 times in a row, what you're telling me is that I can pick it for you. Does that make sense? Okay.
We know you want the first one. That's your premium. Well, we prioritize that in the system, but
Yep.
we do need backups you could live with
Yep.
because sometimes there are conflicts.
If you are in something like musical theater, if you're in something like AVID, something that you auditioned or interviewed for, that is a priority for us. And so, yes, you're picking alternates, but your primary one, especially if you're in that situation, we will make every effort to get you into those. It's rare that we can't. It does happen depending on what your core selection of classes are. It does happen if you're in IB, but we really do everything we can to get you into those audition or interview electives. This is also true if you're moving on to the 2nd year of an ROP course. That is also a priority for us to get you into those. Okay. Last thing on here that I want to address is it's additional information. Okay. So let's say there's something on this form that you wanted to tell your counselor, like, hey, I want to take Spanish 3 over the summer. These are the electives I want to take instead. This is where I want that going. Okay. Hey, I'm full diploma candidate and I need IBTOK and IB Visual Arts SL. Okay. I need both of those. This is where I want it. This is what I don't want on here. I do not want to see, I really want Miss Martinez for junior English. I know you guys love her. She's awesome, right? But we can't put that here. We cannot do teacher requests. This system does not allow for that. So if you put it there, it's going to get deleted. So don't put it there. Does that make sense? Okay. Any questions on elective stuff? Yes.
What engineering do you
I heard in the last classroom that Mr. Pedraza is saying that's going to happen, but we haven't heard that yet.
No.
So
It's not on the course request. That has not been if it's not been finalized is what I would say. So if that does happen, that's going to be something that we deal with closer to the end of the year. So for now, pick something different. Yeah.
But if I have the 2 engineering courses done now, do I have to pull
yes, you
Yes.
do. You do have that
Yep.
pathway completed.
You have what's called a concentrator and a completer. You have both of those. Yep. Good.
Yeah.
If I did an ROP class for half of the year last year, would I select the same level that I had been on last year?
Talk to your counselor. If you want to continue it, you do have time. If you wanted to start a new ROP class for junior year and then do that 2nd year in your senior year, you have time for that. But if you wanted to revisit that semester, we can talk to you about that.
But like, is it required for me to have done both semesters for me to take a 2nd level?
Most likely, yes. Yeah. All right. So this is near the very end of the course contract. It asks that it has you acknowledge that you understand the constraints of the system and that you have also talked to your parents, because it says we understand this. So we definitely want you to go over this course request form with your family and answer any questions they have. So you can now hit submit.
So everybody hit submit. Finish your electives, hit submit. Now, you're going to go home and you're going to have closed this window out because unlike Miss Aber, you actually close out all your tabs. I do the same thing, don't feel bad. Okay, so you have closed out this tab and you're like, okay, I want to edit this form now. What do I do? Because mom and dad said they want to see it. Right back on this page, you click that course selection form again, and you're on this. This is what you saw when you logged out. All you're going to do is click edit your response. Okay? And it's going to take you to the beginning of the form. And you're going to go through this with your parents, have a conversation about the classes that you're taking. And let's say, go ahead and click next. Let's say you're going to change your mind. You had picked originally junior English, but you want to do full IB. Well, that means we're going to change IB history to HL, and we're going to change English to HL. We're going to change both of those. Okay? Have you saved your responses yet? No. So you need to make sure once you make a change, go scroll all the way to the bottom, click next, all the way to the bottom, click next.
If you didn't have any other changes, yeah.
All the way to the bottom and hit submit. It's not until you hit submit that those changes are added to your responses. So you need to make sure if you make a change, we want you to go home, review this with your parents, think about it, talk with your teachers, come and talk with your friends, come and talk with us as your counselors, okay? When you hit submit, that's when it changes. You can edit this as many times as you want up until what date?
21st.
February 21st. Thank you. February 21st at midnight, this form closes and you don't have access to it anymore. Okay. Now, what will happen from that point is we will actually get the printouts of what you put on here. And when we meet with you one-on-one, if we feel like changes need to be made, or if you come up with something like, you know what, I decided I really do want to do full IB, we can still make changes when we're doing our individual meetings. But we would prefer you to actually really investigate this in the next week and a half while you have time to take a look at what classes you want to have. Okay? Make any sense? We all good? Okay.
If you get stuck on finding out more about the electives, you can go back to
Yes.
this page and look at some of the elective courses. So like we talked about the dual enrollment, let's just tap on to the Baldy View classes. These are the Baldy View classes we have on our campus, but there are other classes like nursing, dental assisting, cosmetology, logistics, HVAC, on other campuses. So please, talk to your counselor, see Mrs. Heil in the library, the Career Center. She can help you if you're looking at some off-campus classes.
Some of these even have videos that you can watch on the subject too. So if you want more information, some of them actually still have videos on there.
Yeah.
Dual enrollment, if you would click on that one there at the bottom, this also gives you some options that you have not had before.
Oops,
so these are our Citrus College courses. Yeah, you're good. Okay. I'll warn you about one of them. There we go. There we go. Two of the classes right here. I'm going to warn you about these two. The teacher is a awful human being, like just terrible.
He's
I
the
actually
teacher.
teach that one. They're fun. But dual enrollment classes are definitely options for you. And if it's something you're interested in, read through the descriptions of what they do. They're a really good opportunity for you to start building some college credits while you're still in high school. Okay. Questions at all? Any questions?
We need to add math 160 and 165 here.
That's on the regular dual enrollment page.
Okay. All right.
So that's not an elective.
Gotcha.
So it's not on here. Yep.
All right.
Any questions, guys?
So we'll be seeing you soon through World History classes starting March 3rd. But we do want you to submit your form, edit it as many times as you like, so that we can have good conversations when we meet with you one-on-one in the library. Yeah.
Can you remind me again how I can set up a meeting with my counselor?